has nothing to do with Trump. And just because Trump is the one saying it and you hate him doesn't mean you should discredit everything else. And it doesn't mean that if you are pregnant, you should go fisting a bottle of Tylenol.
You on mute.
I'll stop it right there and I'll let you share. See that? You see that? We rhyming cousins too. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I just had a thought when I was listening to her speak. It was like, man, Tylenol, that rhymes with fentanyl. So could Tylenol be the fentanyl, of medicine, for children? And I know this was speaking in terms of, using it while you're pregnant, aspirin, we know Tylenol has been around, for a long time. I'm pretty sure your mom's taken it. My mom's taken it over the years. They used to carry it, pill bottles in they purse as we was growing up. It was either Tylenol, Bear back in the day, and then we had Advil was the next one. And as she was speaking, she was just saying if you do a little bit of research, you can kind of understand what's happening here, what's been happening. So to cut off your hand to spite, as they say, oh no, cut off your nose to spite your face. That's essentially what, some of these women are doing. And they're even ending up in the hospital. I've seen a couple of clips where, they're in a position to where they may not even, live to see, another day because they have taken it upon themselves to protest, with their self and their bodies, by saying, hey, I'm not listening to you. Watch this. No, you watch what's going to happen. And then if she dies or someone dies from this, they're still going to figure out a way to still blame it on, our president or your president or whatever people call it. Doesn't matter. But nonetheless, it was RFJK, who also said the same thing, in terms of ingesting this during pregnancy has shown that this may cause, autism. So this is something that, I have understood possibly, you know, um, based on my own personal research. And also, just understanding where this may be coming from. So this is one of those things to where I'm like, okay, if this is something that's possibly harmful to people, then why would people continue to take it and protest? And that just shows you how strong, the cognitive function in terms of hate is, for some people. Because when you hate something, people are willing to die, just to say, hey, I don't agree with you, or I'm not going to listen to you. And I'm going to harm myself, in the process to protest, whatever you're saying, even though it's true, even though it's logical, even though it's backed up by numerous studies, So that's one of the things that I see and understand as a mental and cognitive function that kind of, just gets rid of all, type of reality uh, and function, in this certain area we call um, logic. If there's a test, there's information, there's a cause, there's an effect. Don't do this, but if you continue to do it, like they said, it's your choice. I'm just giving you the information. What wasn't given to you before. So do with that what you will. And yeah, man, what you got on that? What you thinking?
I think people are weird. I might be weird as well, but there's a certain mindset that people have, and I don't want to get in like say it's political, but they shown it's political, right? I don't agree with somebody, and so even though I may not agree with this person, but I'm going to do things that I haven't done my research on that could affect me, and not only affect me, but affect my baby. And there's, I mean, like certain things just cross the line. I know this doesn't have anything necessarily to do with what we talked about, but just another example. I saw this guy, this video of a guy. He was driving a truck, and somebody had a Trump sign up in front of their yard, and it was kind of like it looked like it was a country because they had, yeah, you saw that, yeah. So the guy runs over the sign, and then the person put like a piece of wood or something like that with nails in it, and then he runs over it, and now his tire is flat, and
Yeah.
now he's mad, because his tire is flat, and saying they shouldn't have done this, put that wood right there. Well, you shouldn't have did what you did. And so, I was just kind of looking up while you were talking. Big Pharma, the pharmaceutical company, they they're about a $1.7 trillion a year business. And it says actually by 2034, that it may be around $3 trillion. And the reason why I bring that up is because a lot of things that are given to us are prescribed to us. Yeah, they do their testing and stuff like on it, but they don't tell you a lot of times, or I'm sorry, they don't put out there in plain view some of the things that are wrong. Like it is in fine print, which we should, be reading the fine print, but some of the information they don't make readily and easily available to you. They just say, here, take this. This is gonna help you with that, right? And I was gonna say, oh, then you hear about, just random things coming out. Oh, we hear this is linked to this. Oh, this is linked to that. Oh, this is linked to this. Like all these things are coming out, like things that we've taken for years. And for these people to deny the fact that this is true and put themselves and their kids at jeopardy, it just doesn't make sense. And then to say like, oh, he's not right. Like things have come out all the time that we thought was healthy, or we thought was good for us, or even like drinking out of a water bottle. We got microplastics and all kind of things. Like they didn't know this stuff at first. This stuff wasn't publicized us at first, but it's something that we have come to understanding of more recent. And but for them, because they don't like him so much, they put themselves in harm's way. I think it's ridiculous. I think people are, some people are, crazy to do that to themselves, especially to their baby. I don't know. I had a lot more to say, but that's pretty much, I want to kind of stay in that realm of things.
Yeah.
I did actually hear a report of a lady that was in the hospital who overdosed.
Mm-hmm.
And she, the lady that was talking, I don't really know her profession and know her, professional expertise in the
Mm-hmm.
field of medicine,
Mm-hmm.
but she said that she probably won't make it. The lady is like in a coma. So
Mm-hmm.
her and the baby is in jeopardy, and now, the husband, has to make a decision, because the baby is will be a premature baby, and he has to make the decision now. Like, does he, do they try and deliver this baby early to try to save the baby? And then I don't know if they had other kids. Now the other kids, may not have a mom, because they're trying to prove a point that autism, is not caused by Tylenol.
Mm.
Like, tell me, does that make sense? Like, when people do these things, like they don't like think about the full scope of things. Like, is it really worth it? Like trying to figure this out. Okay, you want to put your full self in jeopardy. you know, but an unborn baby who's, you know, who is dependent on you to do the right thing, you know, is now in harm's way. So I just don't get it, man. But I think you have something to say, so I'll let you hop in.
I'll be controversial here. The mother, if she survives, should be thrown in jail. You overdose on, I don't care if it's legal or not, it's still a drug. You know, you're prescribed to take half an aspirin. I'm told, based on my experience, because I know, you know, my significant other had to take half an aspirin, you know, and if you overdose, I'm pretty sure there's going to be negative effects if you take too much of anything. So she should definitely be, you know, brought up on some charges, I think. You know, or there should be some repercussions here. She may pay the ultimate repercussion, but if it harms your baby as the father, I'm like, man, why do I have to put up with that? But of course, this is your wife, who you married for better or for worse, you know, but this is not something that you sign up for, you know, because you had some wild fantasy or, oh, I'm going to go and prove this person wrong. That has nothing to do with our household and our family. And you go ahead and put it in jeopardy like that. I don't want to have to be responsible for that. I didn't make that choice or decision with this individual, you know. And I just had a thought while you were speaking. Is a quick fix worth the possible long-term negative effect? You know, so as we go through and we watch TV and we hear all these different drug companies, you know, pimp out their latest and their greatest to you, you know, and it's also at the end, yeah, you might get diarrhea, you know, stomach cramps, you might even lose your sight, but hey, you're gonna have a good life, you know, with whatever, you know, with la 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 la
Headline
la.
stuff.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it's crazy.
And you know what? That's a valid point, man. I'll say two things. One, just to add to what you said about, and actually what I said earlier about these drugs haven't been tested and they haven't been proven, and then you come to find out other things. Like I don't know if you heard that report about what's the weight loss drug called?
Ozempic?
Ozempic. That stuff like similar. I think it was something similar to Ozempic, or maybe it was Ozempic, are causing people to have issues as well. Like after all these people have taken it,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
Ozempic. Yeah.
like
There
stuff
might be
like
another
that.
one, but that's the most popular one I do know.
But yeah, but like stuff like that, like you know, like initially, oh, it's all good. Like, hey, this is prescribed to you know whoever needs it, and then some people were taking it that you know didn't actually get prescribed you know it as you know a remedy of what they had, but now down the line it's causing issues. Now y'all got problems. Now there's side effects that they didn't tell you about,
Mm.
and you never know what like the long-term effects are of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then to talk about the husband, like where the hell were you at, bro?
Mm.
Like like I don't know, man. I
He was
come from a
working,
different
man. He was out
I
there
come
working hard to provide for his family while his
I
dumb
come from
wife
a
was at
different era,
home.
bro. I would have knocked that shit out of her hand. I come from a different era, man. Guess what? I mean, I don't believe in like dominating woman, but guess what? The man is the head of the household. You know what I'm saying? And like you, and guess what? You supposed to be helping each other out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would think like if you know, I get she wants to try this out, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and there's ways to go about it. Hey, baby, I don't think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what if this and this happens? You
Mm-hmm.
know, but you sit there and let your wife do this. I don't care if he was at work or not. Hey man, you need to check your chick.
You overdosed on Tylenol. What were you trying to do? Accelerate, you know, your child's, you know, ability to get to stupid like where you are right now? Like you want
And
to just
how many was she taking too? Like to overdose on it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
bro,
Like I say, every you know bottle over the counter medicine has a limit to what you're supposed to take a day. So
yes, yes,
anything over that could easily be considered overdose because you don't know how your body is going to react to
right.
that next level up in dosage. You know, whatever that is. You know, I'm guessing. You know, I'm not a doctor. You know, I just play one and everything like. No, but all jokes aside, like you said, like, yeah, if she survives, which I hope she does, I hope you have to live with the accountability, but knowing, what she did, she probably would blame it on her husband to say, why did you let me do that? Why didn't you take the bottle away from me? Or, why did you even have this in the house? It can be something
Right.
simple like that, anything to not have the responsibility fall on, your dumb self.
Right.
So
Yeah, man. That's not. Yeah, it's crazy that people out here, man. They don't. I don't know. They don't be thinking. And I would say this last thing, man. Like, y'all think that these doctors, have your best interests at heart. There's some of them out there that I think are wholehearted and good, but I'll just say this. You get guys to leave it where you want to, but they call it a practice for a reason. You know what I'm saying, y'all?
they
Huh?
call it a hospital for a reason, just like hospice care.
Right.
You don't go there to get better.
But a doctor, they call it that the doctors, like when they have a practice,
Mm-hmm.
call it a practice for a reason. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? When you go to basketball practice or the football practice or the baseball practice, you don't go there because you're batting 1,000. You don't go there because you're shooting 10 from 10 from the field. You don't go there because your reception to not making receptions ratio is 24 out of 24. You go there because you want to get better. You want to learn and practice and work on different areas. You don't have everything perfected, so they call it a practice for a reason. So a lot of times, man, like, even my mom, man, I tell her, like, you listen to everything the doctors say, like, I get it, but now you got to take all these damn medicines, and you wonder why you got to take all of them, because one of them, they have a side effect, and you have to take another one to help that side effect, and it just, and they're getting rich, and big pharma, that's adding to that $1.7 trillion yearly intake of money. So
Dude,
that's all I have to say about that.
Man, I got a quick joke, man. I just came up with it.
Oh God! All right, we're gonna try this. Okay,
Yeah,
try
let
it
me see.
live.
Let me see. Let me see if it worked. So tell me this. So why Allen Iverson why didn't he want to be a doctor? And why did he play basketball instead of being a doctor?
I don't know, man.
They was talking about practice, man.
Oh God! Practice.
They were talking about practice. They were talking about
Oh,
practice, man. Come on. We're talking about practice.